Hello, on this August 28th, we as the church celebrates the feast of St. Augustine, a saint that needs very little introduction. We're blessed in this archdiocese to also have a seminary named after him, with him as our patron. And of course, his life serves as an inspiration and even a model for many of us who are actively discerning God's call in our lives. As you know, St. Augustine had a huge conversion in his life, which he recounts in his autobiography, The Confessions, a work that I invite you to read if you have never read it, because it is a beautiful, honest self-reflection. A man who got in touch with his own sinfulness, who knows the grace of God in his life, and then transforms it through that grace into something that is all the more flourishing and beautiful. And our Mass readings today also help us to reflect upon that. Our first reading from Paul to the Thessalonians direct us to work humbly and quietly. You know, St. Augustine, before his conversion, he was into the world of rhetoric. He wanted to kind of pump up his ego. And while that life at first seems very attractive, he discovered how empty it was and the restlessness that comes with it. He recounts very vividly in his Confessions. Then, of course, in the Gospel, we hear of that famous parable of the talents. And each of us, we know, are given gifts from God. We're all accountable of how we use those gifts. Augustine, again, had many gifts. He is the foremost intellectual of his time. And he at first wanted to use those gifts just for his own glory, for his own sake. But later on, of course, he discovered the greater meaning of his life. And working humbly, but utilizing his gifts properly, he became one of the greatest intellectual in the church's history. It has been said that no one has ever read all of Augustine's writings. And his voluminous works shows the amazing abundance of which he has kind of cultivated through his gifts and his talents to finally give glory to God, to really reflect, to pray over, and to try to show his listeners that there's so much more to God to be discovered. And we give thanks to God for this great saint. We also look to him for his intercession as we continue to discern how we are to use our own talents.